All right, chapter 16 is special journals, and then we're going to deal with just sales and cash receipts. So again, the sales journal is used to record credit sales of merchandise, and then the cash receipts journal is just used to record cash of business receipts. Just so you know that. So the most commonly used special journals is your sales journals, cash receipts journal, so receipt of cash. Sales journal is sale of merchandise on account. Your purchases journal, which is purchase of any asset on account. And then your cash payments journal, any payments of cash, including payment by check. Special journals that have amount columns for recording debits and credits to specific general ledger accounts. So that's just to give you an idea like where we're headed. If you look here, this is what a sales journal kind of looks like. You put in your date, your sales slip number, the customer's account name. Post reference comes into play after you post. If you look, you don't have to think about it when you use the special journals, because the columns will tell you if you're going to use this account column like sales, we know we're going to credit it. Sales tax payable, we know we're going to credit it. Accounts receivable, we're going to debit it. So again, we would put the two credits. Remember, these two credits equal that one debit. And again, a sales journal is a special journal used to record only the sale of merchandise on account. This will show you kind of a glimpse of what it will look like filled in. Here's a transaction, the starting line, so merchandise on account to Casey Klein for $200 plus 12 sales tax. Here's the date, sales slip number, right here, your source document. Casey Klein goes in the customer's account debited, $200 for the actual sale, $12 for the sales tax. When you add these two together, you are going to debit accounts receivable, the debit column for $212. So that's what that would look like. Then if you were to go post that, you would go to Casey Klein. We would post this as a debit and bring it. She had a $500 balance plus this $212. Again, it's in the subsidiary, so you would add, and now she has $712. So that just kind of gives you a glimpse of how this will work. Posted column totals for the sales journal: sales credit, sales tax payable credit, accounts receivable debit. Now what happens is when we post, when we go to the sales ledger, we're not going to do each individual person. We're going to total the journal. So when you total the journal, you would go to your sales ledger and post $10,750, and it would be a credit. You would go to sales tax payable, and you would post the total, which in this case would be $555, and it's a credit. And then you would go to accounts receivable, and you would post $11,305 as a debit. Footing just means it's a column total written in small pencils. Like you see these little right here, like the 1050s kind of. I don't really get into that, but that's what footing is. Like when you see right there, the faint numbers above the actual dark numbers, totals. So that's what footing is. Here they're showing you how they would do this, taking the total and you posting it in the ledger for the $10,750, like I already said. And when they had a previous credit of $300,000 plus that, now they have $310,750. You take that 401 and you would put it in the under the total in parentheses like they did here. These check marks are showing you that they went and posted to Casey that 212. So that's what that check mark is there. So that's how we will work on these special journals. Here's the accounts receivable. They're showing you taking that debit and posting that in there. And then again, putting that underneath the post reference. Proving the sales journal at the end of the page. Again, they're just showing you like if you had your sales journal, then you have to add another page. You would end the journal that, like the bottom lines, you would write in the words carried forward, and then the new page, because if you look from page 12, now we're on page 13, brought forward, and you bring these balances over. Just to kind of show you if you did need another page. I just want to show you. Now we're getting into cash receipts. Again, cash receipts journal is used for cash coming in. If you look, you have a general credit column, a sales credit column, a sales tax payable credit column, accounts receivable credit, and sales discounts debit, and cash and bank debit. Here's recording cash from charge customers. Here's one. Now Casey's going to pay her bill with cash. So again, you'd put in the date, the document, which is receipt 301, her name, and it'd be accounts receivable credit, cash and bank debit, because it's a straight up cash. They didn't say anything about sales tax or anything like that. So again, you just have to follow. It's a lot easier than the general journals, if you can kind of see now. Here's ones. The starting line received $1,470 from South Branch High School Athletics and payments of sales slip for $1,500 less the discount. So again, they put in the date, the document number, South Branch High School. You're going to put in the receivable credit column, the full amount, which was $1,500. They got a discount of $30. That would go in the discount column. And then the cash and bank is $1,470. So the cash plus the debit, sales discount debit, you add them together and they equal that credit. Debits always equal credits. So they're just showing you this one is a sales. Cash sales for the first 2 weeks of December, $3,180 in sales tax. So we're going to put in the sales, $3,180 in sales tax, add these together, and it's $3,180. This one is the bank card. Bank card sales transactions are treated just like cash sales, so the same thing. You still use the same columns: sales credit, sales tax payable for sales tax, and add these two together, and your cash and bank will be what these two credits equal. No difference than what we've been doing in chapter 14 and 15, but just now we're going to get into those specific special journals. This one is a little different, where the times when you're going to use this general credit. If you look at this, she received $30 from Mandy Harris, an employee. She purchased a calculator that the business was no longer using. So this is kind of unique. So that's when you use that general credit and this cash and bank debit. Then they're just showing you again how you would post certain things. So what's going to happen when you have a name here and you see this you would go to Casey Klein, but then you're going to go to accounts receivable for the total at the end. So I just want to kind of be, anything in this general you would post individually to whatever you wrote here. So that I wanted to share with you too. Like they're showing you like office equipment. You would go to office equipment and you post it as credit, things like that. And then this is just showing you like all this posting. So posting's not new for us. But to prove the accounts receivable subsidiary ledger, accountants prepare a schedule of accounts receivable. And that just lists your account, the names of the clients, and then when you add them all up, it should equal what's in your accounts receivable ledger. Possible errors in a subsidiary ledger: you're failing to post a transaction or you're miscalculating. Internet sales, using internet merchant account. They're saying you should if you use anything like that. So that basically sums up what I wanted to share in chapter 16. So thanks.